Lynn Whitbeck, and today I am joined by our wonderful guest, Katerina Rothman. And we're going to be talking about AI productivity secrets, how to instantly boost your efficiency. We're going to unlock practical AI strategies right now that are going to help you work smarter, save time, and achieve more with less effort. Now, if you get a ton of value from this episode, I'd love to invite you to subscribe because it costs nothing to subscribe. I want to tell you about Katerina. Woohoo! So, she is a driven entrepreneur, marketing expert, and business coach dedicated to equipping business owners with current AI technologies for growth and optimization. With a diverse background spanning economics, marketing, and entrepreneurship, Katerina has built a reputation for her innovative and holistic approach to business growth. Katerina, I am absolutely thrilled to have you here. Thank you so much for joining me on the show today.
Thank you so much, Lynn. Happy to be here.
Well, with this, everything that's emerging, especially with AI and considering your background, I'd love to get some backstory about what inspired you to go down this path.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for your question. So, a few years ago, I was juggling my seven-figure e-commerce business while I was a parent, and I was getting ready to build the second business, which is our consultancy company. And the burnout was real. That was about the time when I discovered how AI started emerging into our world, right? It was very clear to me that like it is our future that is happening now. And that was a no-brainer for me to start diving into learning more about it, understanding the tools, and yeah, how AI tools can take over our repetitive tasks and generate marketing ideas and summarize research, and all of this is done in seconds. So I very quickly went from 12-hour days to, focused 6-hour sprints, so to speak, and without the sacrificing the results, of course.
That's amazing. I mean, and it's so true. It's when it's used correctly, it's such a powerful tool. And I think that's what we really want to get into today is what are those AI productivity secrets to instantly boost your efficiency?
Yeah, thank you, Lynn. So yeah, let me just hook you guys in so you stay with us until the end. And what if I tell you that a tool that can save you 5+ hours a week is already something that you most likely have and already paying for it. So first of all, let me demystify AI. I'm sure that your audience, Lynn, is heard about AI before and starting to get familiar with it. I want to say that AI is an accessible tool, right? It should not be an intimidating tool. Think of it as your smart assistant that just learns and works at a lightning speed and helps you get to your results faster. It's not replacing you. It's not replacing people who work for you. This is what we always love to say when we consult companies. We're not here to take somebody else's jobs. We're not here to, prepare you a list of people who needs to be fired, because we're giving you on a golden platter all the AI tools that's gonna move your company forward. Uh, AI is here to empower you and empower your people so they can just have more time to strategize on, in their workplaces. And again, it is everywhere, right? From your Gmail autocomplete to your Spotify recommendations to, everyone is already get used to Netflix recommendations that are popping in, and your Netflix is going to be different than mine. And of course, the favorite marketplace, Amazon, that has been using AI for quite a while. This is where, you add one thing and they recommend the other three that's gonna help you. So AI is like a calculator for your brain. It doesn't make you dumber, but it lets you skip the math so you can focus on what matters. Um, when we get to specific tools, I would like to point out that AI that was here 2 years ago is completely different from what it is today. The information current rate of the whole is it the knowledge? Yes, it's the knowledge base that is doubling every 12 months, and it's projected to start doubling every 6 months, in the very nearest future.
Wow.
uh, we will talk about the tools today very briefly. I would just like everyone who is listening to us today to understand that 2025 is the year of AI agents. What does it mean is that they're not only the tools that can help you do the work, but they're also now agents that basically can do the work for you. If, let's say, today you can, um, let's say you have a blog that helps you spread the word about your business, and it takes you, you put about 2 to 4 blog posts every month. You can easily double it and save time doing it by opening one of the LLMs, which are large language models. This is your ChatGPT, this is your Copilot, this is your Claude, one of the most used ones. Gemini from Google. They're all accessible right now to anyone, free of charge. Of course, there are tiers. If you want the thing to do more for you, you'll have to pay for it. But nonetheless, it's accessible right now, and you can. It basically allows you to not start anything from the blank page anymore. This is your creating assistant, right? So let's say you have a topic in mind that you want to write about, or let's say you don't have one. So you can brainstorm, explain it. What is that you do? What kind of information that you want to share, or what could be a valuable information for your audience to share in regards to your business, in regards to your specific blog. And it's going to come up with ideas. It's going to come up with the titles, and then of course you can actually make it write it for you. A good point is to, if you're using some factual information there, um, don't hesitate to ask your chat gpt whether this information is correct, and if it is, provide the source where it got to. I'm sure everyone at this point heard so many stories when ChatGPT would be hallucinating and creating things, right? So that saves you a lot of time. That saves you a lot of effort. Going back to AI agents, this is the part where you will build out the workflow where the machine, the tool, will be generating those posts for you without you even interfering. And it can actually post it for you on the web. Of course, you can pause it somewhere in the middle so you can go and check what is actually getting posted, but you're no longer have to do that yourself. The content is generated for you and it's put out there for your audience.
Yeah, so I'm interested because there's a couple things that you said. First of all, you definitely have to double check the figures that ChatGPT or one of these other systems would provide to you, because they will spew out garbage. They'll make things up. And also, even when you're using it to do an analysis or something else, it will put something in that was never in the original documentation. That they just you have to watch it, and be very cognizant of that. I think the other thing is to be aware of is that if you're not generating your own original content and then leveraging ChatGPT as a very effective tool, or whichever one you're using, you're essentially pulling from whatever garbage is out there. I'm sorry that that's AI generated. The using AI is an incredibly powerful tool, but that will never replace the creativity and the ingenuity of the human being. And so when you're using it with your own voice and original content, it can be amazingly effective to repurpose that content, use it a different way, help you find an antidote or a story that will, sort of help make that connection to what you're trying to communicate and what the messaging is. So I think that from my perspective, I want to be really aware that this is not an easy button that you just push and magic happens. That is not a magic wand. This is not a unicorn. That you have to have a strategy and a process in place. And I'd love to talk about that with you because that's where you really step in to help leverage these tools effectively. So it's not garbage in, garbage out.
Absolutely, Len. And I totally agree with you, especially with the last phrase you said. Whatever you put in, that's the result that you get. There are ways. First of all, those large language models, they're getting better as we speak. Right, every minute they're learning, they're improving themselves. At this point, you can certainly teach it to speak in your own voice.
Yep.
So it does speak into your
Yep.
voice. And again, it's a great they are great tools for creating content ideas. And I totally agree with you. It's important to have a human input and human touch. Again, everybody has different goals that they're pursuing, right? For some, it's just generating content and putting it out there. For people like you, I would think, Lynn, it's important the value that you're bringing, right? Therefore, you're not going to be just posting automatically, whatever the thing's gonna create for you just for the sake of putting content out there. So speaking about strategy, so what is our approach is that when we talk to a client, we come in and we're becoming, for a certain period of time, we're becoming a part of this company. We're certainly understanding the current situation, and just like we said, what are the goals? What is that you want to reach? You want to scale right away from 0 to 100. All right, let's estimate how we're gonna do that. You want to optimize the current workflows, which is honestly a very very honest, very often request. Help us save time, right? Help us introduce those tools. And then, again, as I said, it's today is more about building those agents and building those workflows. However, let's say not everyone, I would assume, Lynn, not everyone in your audience is running corporations or
Oh,
having
no.
even like 10 employees, right? There are plenty of solopreneurs out there that are just like me in the past, was wearing multiple hats and doing everything themselves. For that, I would say that there are fantastic tools for project planning, for meeting notes, for internal knowledge that you can put and gather together. One of those is Notion AI, a very popular tool. There are plenty tools that are summarizing meetings, right? My favorite one is Fathom. Another great one is Otter. They are not only giving you the transcript, they're not only recording your meetings with your clients or internal meetings, so you never go, oh, hold on, what did we agree on at the end of that meeting, or what is that we need to do, what was the action plan, right? It summarizes for you. You can go as deep as you need to go back into details, and it actually pulls out the action plans for you, right? So those are the tools that are like absolutely valuable for any teamwork, or
Yeah.
just to keep your own to keep yourself sane.
Yeah.
So
No, it's huge. It's huge.
yeah, so I just wanted to add to that it really depends on what the goal is, and as any strategist will tell you, what is that you want to do,
Yeah.
and then we'll go deep and understand what's the current situation and how do we get you there. And I love what we see in our work in the past 6 months is that there is still AI AI is a fancy word. AI is a candy that everybody wants. I think at this point everyone gets the idea that I think it was Peter Diamandis who said 2 years ago, by 2035 there's going to be two types of companies: the companies that are using AI and the companies that do not exist or out of business. I think he adjusted that date to 2030 at this point. So yeah, those are the tools here to help you be better at what you do.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely true. And it is a phenomenal tool. I think that, getting back to this idea about how to really leverage AI correctly,
Mhm.
strategically, why is AI productivity in that framework such a challenge for so many?
Great question, Len. I would need to think about it for a second. I think there is a lot of fear still out there because it's something new and unknown to the majority right now. I think it's the stats actually from last year, from 2024. At that point, there was what, like 70% of the 80% of the companies playing with AI, and only 2% who are implementing
Yeah.
that. It's really going to speed up this year. It's really going to change. And not to bring more fear, I do believe that we're going to see a completely different world in just 2 years. And today
Yeah.
is the time to prepare for it. And of course, the other part of it is that, are we able to identify within ourselves, within our companies, within our teamwork, what are actually the bottlenecks, right? And in any approach, you just need to break it down in smaller chunks, and instead of like being overwhelmed and try to absorb the whole thing, take it step by step. And I think the advice that I can give today to anyone who is listening, to anyone who is never tried any AI tools, although, as we said in the beginning, you are already using them this or the other way, whether you know it or not, or who is actively looking how to implement, is identify your time wasters, identify your bottlenecks, pick one or two tools to implement, see what like what are the capabilities of those tools, and then create a simple workflow. Here I'm going to throw another tool that is called Zapier, that has been here for
Long
a
time.
decade, or a simpler interface, make.com. So these are the tools that help you link tools together. They help you connect your email to your LLM, to, I don't know, your Slack, which is the internal messaging system, right? Or your task list. So yeah, so that's the simple way of how I would approach that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I think one of the key things is when you look at a process and, from my Six Sigma training is to truly map that process out and then ask it each, what can we do to make it more simpler? Why are we,
Yep.
it's just like any kind of building out a frame. If you have too many decision trees, it's going to break.
Yeah.
It's not going to be effective. It's not going to be efficient. And so you keep asking, in the classic Six Sigma world, ask six times,
Yep.
why? Because you can absolutely streamline things down. I mean, you know that from just being a guest on our podcast. We have a very streamlined system. Now, we don't use AI for it, but we use templates. We know what our process is. We've process mapped out and we've eliminated things along the way so that it's super simple
Yeah.
and we get everything that we need. So we're never herding cats, we're never chasing down things. It all goes into a centralized repository so that the entire team knows, and then using simple red light, green light, right? We know where everything is in
Yeah.
the process. And so when people start with that, yes, there's some time investment, but it pays off such huge dividends. And then you can look at how can you use, there are many things that we used to have do manually that we can now use AI to do the analysis. As you said, it's like that calculator, the number crunching, although in this
Mhm.
case, it's not crunching numbers. So it really is such a powerful tool. And I love that fact that you brought up that fear, because that is something that can hold people back. And yet it's you just have to sort of you always have to face those fears, and you have to, instead of, oh, robots are taking over the world, well, no, that's not going to happen. So instead, how can you leverage the tool just the way you did cell phones, just the way you do other things, the electronics in our cars. I mean, it's like, I like the fact that my phone connects to my car and I can do everything right there. I mean, I can see exactly how I'm backing up, right? So as you adopt these things, it's just setting it up and doing it the right way to get that structure in place. And I love that we're talking about this, because that's one of the most important things. So that really ties me into thinking about, what should the people who are listening, what should they do next about using AI productivity to truly boost their efficiency? I mean, literally, that they could put in place today, tomorrow, this week, that would make a real big difference in their day to day.
Uh, Thank you for this question, Lynn. It's I can take it to so many different avenues. Depends on what specifically your business is. I think overall, the universal advice would be connect your mail to LLM and help it go through tons of emails that you're receiving. There is a fantastic tool that is called SaneBox, which helps you organize your email. I highly recommend anyone to check it in. It even has like a free trial version for a week, which should give you plenty of time. And I don't know about you. I have about 25,000 unread emails in my inbox, and that number grows, right? I see it on the side. Everything what I see within my inbox is organized, and I see just the things that are matter. And majority of those emails that matter already pre-drafted with my response. This is specifically where I go in, and it's the human in the loop, another industry term, where I go in and I double check everything before I push the green button. So I would think that this is a number one thing that anyone should include in their workflows today. And again, just you touch base on fear, and there's, in everything that is new, there is an adoption curve,
Yeah.
right? There are early adopters, and then those, when it then becomes, it goes into the masses. Apologize for that. And yeah, just like you were giving an example of things that you have implemented in your business. This is the part that I wanted to touch base earlier. There's still a big misunderstanding where there is AI and where there is an automation that has been here for 2 decades already, right? The same reminders for the appointments. If you are working with other people, or you have a calendar, I recommend you to get a simple tool, Calendly. There are many variations of it, to schedule, to keep your schedule in place so people can see your availability, and instead of manually figuring out time, you send them the link. When you put all the settings in, and this is, again, this is not AI, this is pure automation. People get notifications, so they don't forget to show up for that meeting. That saves you a lot of time for the follow-up. As I mentioned, the third one, and I would probably like pause here again, not to overwhelm. It's the note takers. Um, the one that I mentioned earlier, Otter, it can be available on your cell phone. So you can go to in-person meetings, ask a permission if that's okay with uh, the person whom you're having meeting with to record it, and push the button. And it can then again, you can put another automation in place that both parties are getting the summary of this call, of
Yeah.
this meeting that you guys had. So I would start with those three things, and then try to see if you can use your ChatGPT or Gemini or any other LLM that you choose for yourself as your, chat buddy, as someone whom you can ask questions. And even we touched base on that earlier, Lynn, like understand your processes, right? And even if you're stuck, what do I do next?
Yeah.
Ask the question. Okay, so here's my processes. Like, what do I do next? How do I move from that blank page, right? What area should I need to look into? And then of course, you can always ask, hey, recommend me a tool to optimize this process. And it's going to give you workable options. In my experience, it was not giving me the top options, but it's going to get you from blank space. And then if you're stuck, you can always come to experts just like us who are willingly will help you, will guide you through that process and help you find the best tools and create the workflows that work for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can agree more. I think that investing the time early on to set up your whatever um, element you're using, the like chat, I happen to use chat, is really important so that it can learn your personality, your style, your voice, what's unique about you. Because that's the coolest thing is that every human being is unique, you
Yeah.
know? And so even if you're a twin or a triplet, you're still unique. And so that investment is worth its weight in gold for the viability and the quality of the work with the tool. And the other thing that you said that really struck me is that was such a great suggestion. Back in my old bad old corporate days, I actually had an assistant who went with me to meetings who took notes, who pretty much did not participate, but it was because there'd be a whole room full of people in that room and we're implementing a huge corporate program. And I was running the meeting, I had to be interacting with my clients, and I couldn't take notes at the same time. I mean, yeah, it was just like I had to be live in the moment and managing all of that. And so um that would be one place where you wouldn't need that person anymore. You can literally turn, which I'm very familiar with all the ones Otter, Notion, and Fathom, and everyone's a fan of different ones. I
Yeah.
happen to use Otter, but you're right. It would be with the summary, it's, and I use Otter all the time to pull out a specific quote. And you can also use those transcripts for other reasons. Like you can actually, if there was something in there, like, hey, there was a testimonial in this, you can literally upload that transcript into ChatGPT and ask it to find where was the testimonial about my services. When that
Absolutely.
happened, it just happened live during the conversation. Um, and that has happened to me many times that someone just ad hoc, oh, it's so amazing working with you. And it's like, I wish I could capture that. Well, you can now. And
Yep.
isn't that amazing? So,
Lynn, I love how much you're up to speed. Precisely. Let me give once we touch base on that. Let me throw another little nugget. You can take those summaries and you can put it again in ChatGPT and ask it to help you to write a follow-up email. It's going to be seconds that you don't need to think on how to phrase things. It just very straightforward. Think of it as another great example from when we work with sales teams. uh, Today, when people are going to your website, again, it really depends on what you do, but there would be some sort of a questionnaire, right? It can pre-write your offer for them, depending on how the inquiry was filled out, and um, throw in the transcript, and you can even ask it to use the language that your client potential client have used on that call to sort of mimic them, to speak their language, to use their keywords. We're now getting into NLP here a little bit, to put that in the email. They're going to feel the personal approach versus a standardized written email that goes, as a template to everyone. And this is where I want to encourage everyone to grasp on the idea that future is less about using AI. It's more about working with AI, just like your teammate.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. So, Katerina, is there anything you wish that I'd asked you today that I did not?
Oh, I wish we could have another 2 hours so I can get to the place to show how those tools, how you can work with those tools. Um, maybe one question that I would love to answer is, how techy do you need to be? How technologically advanced do you need to be today to
No.
use those tools? And the answer is, you they're simplified so much for you that you really don't need to be a tech guru anymore. Find your LLM, again, chatgpt.com, gemini.com. Go explore and have fun with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree. Yeah, no prior experience needed.
Right, right.
Just like with any tool, just prepare so that you can get it set up properly right out of the gate, and that's going to save you so much time, energy, and heartache down the road. So, Katerina, thank you so much for sharing AI productivity secrets, how to instantly boost your efficiency. I know that our audience is going to want to know more about you and how they can connect and find out about you.
So the good way to learn more about what we do is to follow us at aimarketing.now, and we have prepared a little PDF for you with the top 10 productivity tools for you. Lynn, if you'd be so kind to please share the link in the chat for everyone. Um, just go there and you can download it. It's very self-explanatory. It gives you the price points. It tells you where it has, which tools have free options, free trials, and just be curious and open, and just like I said, go have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And I dropped it there. And for everyone who's tuned in after the fact, it's going to be right there in the comments below. So it's one click away. Katerina, thank you so much. And to all of our listeners who joined us today, I'm so glad you are here. This has really been an informative discussion. And I'm so glad you joined us. And thank you. And Katerina, one more time, thank you so much. This has been fabulous. I've really enjoyed having you on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a great day.
Okay. Woohoo.
um,
Now I just have to wait and see. Oh, yep. We're both green lighted.